let's go with learning some cannabis news. Let's see what we can learn about current events, what's going on in the space, see what exactly we could be up against in the near future, and what has come out recently. Maybe some wacky stuff has been going on. There's only one way to find out. Huge victory for weed. THC ban destroyed. The Legal News Network.
Performing on the biggest stage in the world was just one step in my journey. Hi, I'm Ronnie.
Is there anyone in the chat, by the way, who has had local things change in their laws and regulations and whatnot that are important to the space?
Has been back and forth for months.
Feel free to leave those in the chat.
Or ban it entirely. We saw Lieutenant Dan Patrick pushing hard for a ban, calling the gutter poison and claiming that it's killing kids. Meanwhile, Governor Abbott seemed to stand with medical patients and veterans, and he favored regulation. Now, after months of battling in 2 special legislative sessions, it seems that Texas still has no idea what to do with THC products.
New overnight, the battle over Texas's hemp industry still isn't settled. After weeks of back and forth, lawmakers wrapped up their second special session without passing any new rules on most THC products. KPRC2 News reporter TJ Parker is live outside a CBD shop in the Heights. TJ, what does this mean for customers throughout the area?
Well, Zach, for now it doesn't mean much. So, for example, the CBD shop behind me here on 11th Street could still sell those gummies, hemp-infused drinks, and those smokable flowers. The full ban was on the table, the full THC was on the table, but did not pass. Now, I want to show you a statement that we just got from the hemp industry and farmers of America in response to this not passing. It says in part, quote, "The hemp ban bust represents a major win for Texas businesses. Dan Patrick continued his out-of-touch crusade to ban all hemp, ignoring 80% of Texas voters." So the House gavelled out late Wednesday, leaving Senate Bill 6 without a vote. It would have banned any hemp product with detectable levels of THC, except for a couple that are non-psychoactive. Senate Governor Dan Patrick wanted a total ban, saying regulation just wouldn't work. But Governor Greg Abbott pushed for tighter rules instead of age limits and potency caps. And so again, Zach, that ban is now did not pass here within the state of Texas.
So another special legislative session ended and no resolution as to what the hell to do with the THC products. Now there are a lot of different lawmakers debating these issues, and it's not just
Texas is a weird state, man. I would love to like, just as an experiment, be in the mind of someone who is like deathly against cannabis, even with all of the information being like easy access as to like all the information around the plant and the ease of access to good information, and you can learn everything about the plant in today's world and still be in this like 70s, 80s, 60s mindset of cannabis is the devil and it's going to destroy you, it's going to destroy your family type thing. I'd love to actually know what gets somebody to that point of delusion. And Texas trying to do like a full THC ban and keep that up while trying to introduce CBD products, it's going to be very difficult to work around. Like, it seems like it'll be difficult to work around a THC ban where any level of detectable THC in your plant is banned. And then the potency caps, I'm wondering at this point if they're also doing potency caps for CBD, because you see CBD like gummies and it'll be like, oh, you take 2 and then it's fucking 2,500 milligrams of CBD for that dose. I wonder if they're going to cap that at like 200 or 100. And then when the THC caps come out, I wonder if they're going to be the same as CBD, even though CBD isn't psychoactive, or if they're going to be like, you know what, since we cap CBD at 200, let's cap, like if you want to get a chocolate bar or a drink or something, let's cap that at 50 milligrams and see how that works.
the hemp issue that's being debated in the special legislative session. There's also a host of issues, including the Texas redistricting issue, which everyone knows is a hot topic right now.
And also on its way to the governor is a bill that will require people to use bathrooms and locker rooms that are the same as their birth gender in schools and government buildings. Supporters say it protects women. Opponents deride it as the bathroom bill.
Truth
The bathroom bill.
Truth. I just ate mood.
The point in America we're at, you can't even take a shit
what's passed, what failed in this special session.
Well, one bill that failed was
without it getting
talked
political.
about at the end of the regular legislative session, and we're talking about the ban on all THC products. You remember the governor vetoed the ban on THC products at the end of the first special session, at the regular session, and he placed the topic on the special session agenda. The Senate passed it for a third time, but it went nowhere in the House, and last night Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick announced despite negotiations they were still far apart, and so no legislation, not even to ban it for people younger than 21, passed. Another bill rejected is property tax relief, specifically a bill to clamp down on cities and counties with more than 75,000 residents from raising property tax revenues. Enough Republicans teamed up with Democrats to oppose it, saying it won't lower property taxes enough and that it should also include smaller counties and cities too. And one other bill that went down would have kept most complaints against law enforcement officers from being made public. Of course, the big question now is, will Governor Abbott call a third special session? No word yet from the governor's office.
I feel like it's a weird take that they shouldn't be made public. Like, if there's a complaint against an officer, you should be able to have access to that information, because it's the people's responsibility, I feel like, to write a complaint off as bullshit if all of them are public, versus like if there's private complaints and you keep them within the company, like all that does is fuel corruption, that whatever way you look at it, because one way or another these things are going to have to be made public. At least somebody's going to know, and it's going to get out to the public. Because if you have to have like a trial about misconduct and all that good stuff to get someone fired for something they did on the job that resulted in that, then people on the jury are going to know and people in the courtroom are going to know. Well, if you don't go that route and you just fire them outright and you say, listen, we've been hearing a repeated pattern of behavior and misconduct on your part, and you fire them, and that doesn't eventually have someone know, well, they can use that to their advantage and be like, well, they fired me for no reason, they didn't give me a reason, and just lie about the whole thing. And then they'd have to come out and be like, hey, it's because this guy's a piece of shit. And then that's how, just put it out there, dude. Like, if someone is an asshole cop, put it out there. Arrested you for literally no fucking reason and has harassed you and is being a bad cop. I mean, fuck. You see on like Pigeons 420's, or not Pigeons, Penguin Z0, Moist Critical's channel, he's commentated videos over like stories of police officers having sex with people they arrested. Like, that shit happens. And if someone's like trying to use their power dynamic to take advantage of people, that's a whole lot more common and should be public. I don't know why that's a debate.
Some Republicans tell me they want it to take another attempt at reducing property taxes and banning THC for those younger than 21. Other lawmakers I spoke with strongly oppose it. They say they've had enough. Karen?
I guess this is just a wait-and-see game now.
Oh, of course her name's Karen.
Thank you very much.
So as you guys can see, there are a lot of issues being debated at these special legislative sessions, and hot topics, not just that hemp bill, even though that was one of the most talked about issues down in Texas. Now, there was a ban which came into force just a few days ago, and I want to give you guys a little bit more info on that in a bit and show you guys what Lieutenant Dan Patrick had to say at the close of the special legislative session. But before we do, just a quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or just buy us a cup of coffee. And if you happen to be a home gardener, try the ICANN Organics. Use the code LEGAL. It works on the bundle and the beans.
Texas lawmakers are still in Austin as the special session gets closer to ending, and we just learned this in the last hour. The effort to ban THC products is done for now.
After long discussions last night between the governor, speaker, and I, fucking English class. On THC and continued hours of discussion today, we are not able to come to a resolution. Not a fucking semicolon in sight. I appreciate the effort by Governor Greg Abbott _TX to find a solution. I think Speaker Dustin Burrows for TX and Republican House members for joining the Senate by passing a complete THC ban during the regular session. My position remains unchanged. The Senate and I are for total THC ban. And you're also apparently not for legibility, English education. After passing our remaining bills on the July 4th flooding, the Senate will adjourn sine die this evening. Texas legislation.
Lieutenant Dan Patrick took to social media saying that after a discussion with Governor Abbott and House Speaker Dustin Burrows, they were unable to come to a resolution.
Now, there are some folks down in Texas taking Lieutenant Dan Patrick's words to mean I'm surrendering, I'm giving up, and that's it. But the truth is, I feel like this may not be the case. He may keep coming back until he gets his ban. And having a look at what he said, he says that while he appreciates the effort, they failed to come to a solution, but he makes it clear that his position remains unchanged. The Senate and himself are for a total THC ban. So some of those celebrations may be a little bit premature and short-lived, but let's have a look at them anyway.
The Lieutenant Governor of Texas conceded his fight against THC last night on X and the second special
What a
session.
fucking hill to die on.
Last night, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, went on X and posted essentially that his THC ban was not going to go through.
For this reason and many others, I think we need to start getting some of these geriatric fools out of Congress and out of government in general. We need a complete reset on anyone who is fucking just over the age of 65. I think that should be the cutoff. Maybe 55, actually. We should keep the young motherfuckers in there who actually understand today's climate. I don't feel like that's an extreme stance. There should be ageism in government, for sure. There should be a bottom and there should be a cap. Not just a floor, because that's fucking stupid, but a ceiling that you cannot run if you're over this age. Because being able to run indefinitely in your local government, especially with how federal governments are starting to try to give more control to the states, there needs to be a cap on who can tell you what to do when it comes to what. Because if you don't have that, and the president's like, well, all of you guys can have your fucking control, and you can tell them every part of what is legal in your state because you manage it and it's your state, and no laws are protected by the federal government, then you are going to have dictatorships. And I feel like that's what the fascist far right wants. I feel like that's part of their big government plan. And I am not here for it.
There's always the option for the governor to do an executive order. There's a possibility of a third session, although we believe that is unlikely. It would have been nice to see an age gate passed, but the Lieutenant Governor apparently was not willing to concede on that. The Lieutenant Governor made it clear that he would not accept anything less than a ban, and the Texas House Representatives made it clear that they are not willing to accept a ban. That is why we are in the position we are in, and we do not have a full ban on THC in Texas. So please, thank you, representatives. We are extremely grateful for what they did. That is where we are at. Love you guys.
The FBI wants.
Is he saying he's thankful for the ban? Thank God we don't have more freedom.
For my kids.
Aren't you guys like the party of freedoms? You're supposed to be like, yeah, let the people do what the people want.
I need allies.
Because freedom.
I want you to join me.
Happy hunting.
But they pull out that big unless card and they're like, unless it's something I don't agree with, like being gay or having an abortion or smoking weed. Then freedom goes out the window.
Now, isn't it pretty interesting that rather than pass legislation that puts an age cap on these products, that he was so strong-minded, almost to the point of being self-destructive, that he would prefer
Stupid-minded,
a total ban
bad-minded,
than have an age cap put in place. It's mind-blowing to me.
hard-headed,
Really
not strong-minded.
the entire back and forth between Lieutenant Dan Patrick
That implies
and Governor
intelligence.
Abbott down in Texas. The whole thing was like a reality TV soap opera.
Caroline and Rashi, you could call the governor's comments in Waco today a partial victory lap. That's because while much was accomplished since January, some critical high-profile issues remain unsolved. I'm talking about.
I'm gonna hit subscribe to this channel. I didn't know the Legal News Network was a thing. Shout out to ICANN THC.
As you may remember, earlier this summer, Governor Abbott vetoed a complete ban on THC passed by the legislature, calling instead for strict regulation of the rapidly expanding industry. Since then, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, leader of the state Senate, has loudly rejected any compromise or regulatory measure as irresponsible and a threat to the health of Texans. That hard stand has put the ball back in the governor's court.
So despite the positive sentiments and the celebrations, I do think that Lieutenant Dan...
I see that there's some people in the live chat who are watching right now. Leave down in the chat if you are watching, if you want me to do a live trichome check on my Chill Out OG that's in the closet right now. Tomorrow marks the start of week fucking 12 of flower, and it's starting to actually drive me crazy that we're not seeing that turn from milky cloudy to amber, and there's not a lot of clear on that plant. So I almost want to chop it down, but then there's a lot of white pistils on it still. So if you guys want to check that plant out, definitely leave it in the chat and let me know if you guys want to get into that. But for now, we're going to push on listening to legalization and trying to learn a little bit more about the cannabis space.
Are going to come back with another ban. It's probably going to be just as strong, if not stronger. Now, the big question on everyone's mind is a third legislative session going to be called? And coming out of months of debate, laws being proposed, laws being put in place, sessions ending and bills failing, where the heck are we right now?
Well, it's no question THC has been a hot topic for the Texas state legislature. One powerful faction led by Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick wants to ban it, and another group led by Governor Greg Abbott wants to keep it, but with some restrictions. Fox 4's Stephen Dial is dialed in on this debate, and once again, the group in support of a ban has lost. Stephen?
Hannah, the total THC ban failing for a third time is a big win for the hemp industry. The total ban on consumable THC was vetoed by Governor Abbott after the regular session. In both special sessions, the Senate passed the ban, but stalled in the House.
So that can be perceived as a little bit of a win, and I'll take anything that I can get. But one thing that's not a win is a ban that actually went into force banning all THC vapes down in Texas. And I'm going to break that down for you guys in a bit, but before we do, here's Texas Governor Greg Abbott just about 20 hours ago when he was asked whether he's going to call a special legislative session for the third time.
Hard stand has put the ball back in the governor's court, given he has the power to call yet another special session to force the issue. Now today in Waco, the governor signaled that he's keeping that option wide open.
And imagine if, after completion of a full game, you go into overtime and then a second overtime. And who knows, there may be a third or fourth overtime. Who knows what's coming?
Beyond that cryptic statement delivered to business leaders, Abbott said not a single word regarding the embattled $8 billion hemp business. An issue he did talk about was relief for Texans impacted by the devastating July 4th Hill Country floods.
Everybody whose primary residence got damaged is going to have their homes rebuilt, and they are being rebuilt as we speak right now.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Rebuilding homes, fighting for marijuana.
Is giving priority to people whose homes was affected through.
Sounds like Abbott's got my support.
Which cannot be said about Governor Newsom over in California after the Palisades fires, and he's just doing a whole lot of nothing. But as it relates to a third legislative session, it does seem to me that Governor Abbott is not necessarily feeling it, but he's still reserving the right to call it. And that's pretty clear by his example of if you have a game with overtime and another overtime and another overtime, Timer, when is the game actually going to end? When are we finally going to say enough is enough? But I guess we'll just have to wait to see what happens. But
Probably
one thing we don't have to wait to see is that ban which meant to finish
2035.
banning all THC vapes. Now this is pretty interesting because they're placing an emphasis on Chinese-made vapes. Check it out.
There's now a new normal for those who vape here in Texas.
As of this past Monday, retailers can no longer sell any vape that was made in China, which experts say is an overwhelming majority of what is in the stores today. But how will authorities enforce?
Oh shit! Wait a second. We've never successfully sold thriving Chinese product in America, have we? That's not something that happens. No, Chinese stuff sucks, right? What? Listen, I'm all for being able to buy locally and things made by the people. It's a fantastic thing, being able to have a free economy. But a lot of our stuff is imported. And it's not just imported from China. We single them out because it's a majority of what we buy. Because China is huge and they have a lot of manufacturing. It's fantastic. They got something crazy going on there. People jumping out of buildings, bouncing off of nets, going to work all of the time, and having just a damn terrible time. All to make stuff for spoiled white Americans who buy it for really cheap and then sell it for like 700% and like 700% markup. And we like that shit. But what we don't like, and what these people don't like and don't know that they're fighting against, is having to make something that's extremely expensive. All of the like actual material to make something is expensive to get when you live in America and you're trying to buy from America, because we have so much like national public land that you can't necessarily mine off of. And then they have to do a high markup, but they can't mark it up too high because then people won't buy it. So then they'll have to take a percentage cut from actually selling the thing, but they'll have to sell it at a similar, if not exactly the same price, and paying more for that item. So then businesses aren't going to have these extremely wealthy people, but they want an infrastructure where there's a lot of billionaires. I'm trying to think in like the perspective of one of these guys who like loves big business, loves making billions of dollars. They're not going to get there. The profit margin isn't quite there yet. But Trump does have a plan. Trump does have a plan to take away all this public land so we can use it for creating more shit for us to buy instead of just having land and maybe businesses making less. So I guess they do have a point.
Force the new law, and will it curb vaping among youth? 3 News reporter Ryan Hopper.
Not vaping among youth.
Mike, Leslie, while it has never been legal for students or those underage to possess vapes, authorities see curtailing the sale of vapes to adults as a way to curtail the overall supply, while hopefully lowering underage demand. SB 2024 is in effect, and its ramifications could be drastic. Local vape shops could lose a large portion of their business, while local authorities say this law could be a major part of not losing a generation of kids to addiction and respiratory issues.
When you have these vape products coming over from other countries, and I've seen this firsthand, you don't have any regulation to know what's going into them. What you'll see is these pens coming over, and they're sold. The kids will be selling them, or they're sold to children, and they're seized.
Here's my thing, right? First off, Save the Kids should never be something that you're allowed to use to fight against something, because that could be used for literally anything. Save kids by selling less cars, because if parents like have their keys somewhere in their house and it's not locked up. Their kids could steal the car, go for a joyride, crash, and die and kill families. Okay, that's a fucking thing. Ban tobacco to save the children from tobacco because it's going to give them a lifelong addiction and lung cancer and they're going to die. And give the people around them secondhand lung and create an epidemic. Okay? Yeah, save the kids. Woo. Save the kids from THC because there's lead in the vapes and it's leaching into your juice and it's going to give you lead poisoning. Like you actually give a fuck. You actually just want to regulate and sell this because you want to take the money for it. You don't want your money going to China. You don't want, like, just say what it is. Like, you just don't want your money going to a different country. You want to keep all the money within the country. Like, just say that. Because you're going to put the lead and the nickel and the tin and the vapes also. Like, what do you think it's fucking made of? Like nuclear waste? Like, what's going on? And if you're so concerned about it, do, like, your research, find out what they're actually doing in it. Like, you could probably find this information if you look at manufacturing practices in China. And if you can't, then start companies. Like, what are you doing?
They're not like the stuff you get in other states where some of these products are legal, and the problem is you don't know what's in them. And many times they'll have other products like fentanyl, for example.
Judge McCoy with Nueces.
Yeah, if you get your vapes from China, unfortunately, fentanyl. So get fucked. I don't know what to tell you. Everything that could possibly be sold to kids that is in a drug fucking kind of atmosphere, if it's not being sold by a pharmacy, it's obviously laced with fentanyl. Did you not know that? Am I educating you here? Is this the thing that's going on? If it's legally sold in a shop, it is laced with fentanyl 100% of the time. I don't know what else to tell you. There's no two ways about it. You save the kids, and he said laced with fentanyl in the same paragraph. And he's allowed to argue things in a legal context, in a governor context, in a political context. These are the people we have in power. What?
The county says that roughly 9 out of every 10 kids who come
the absolute fucking delusion
test positive for THC, the primary psychoactive ingredient in marijuana.
Oh no.
While correlation does not always mean causation, Kirby Warnke, chief of CCISD police, says his department sees the same.
Well, I mean, it's not a far stretch to say that if you're abusing substances, then there's a
How's it going, Paul?
component to it. We haven't done any types of longitudinal studies to determine that, but anecdotally, we can see that that's usually the case.
Now, let me know what you guys think about the.
Let me go back.
Sees the same.
And many times they'll have other products like fentanyl, for example.
Judge McCoy with Nueces County says that roughly 9 out of every 10 kids who come into his courtroom test positive for THC, the primary psychoactive ingredient.
9 out of 10? Whoa! Well, 9 out of 10 kids are testing positive for THC. In an environment where THC is taboo and mostly illegal? Whoa! But there's a ban. How could they possibly get it if it's so hard to get and it's illegal? How could this happen? Where have we seen this pattern before? What's up, Crippled Cowboy? Congratulations on being on your second grow. What are you growing, my homie? And also shout out to AC Infinity. You can use my promo code. I actually forgot what my promo code is, but you can fucking use it. I wonder if I can actually post my description of my YouTube channel. It is Express 420. So use Express 420 at checkout and save some money on some AC Infinity gear if that's something you're looking into. But I'm very interested, Paul, in what you are growing. So definitely let us know. Also, howdy to everyone in the chat. And also, those of you who might have not been on earlier, I do have that Chill Out OG I'd be willing to check out if you guys want to see that.
In marijuana.
I do have to do a trichome check.
Does not always mean causation. Kirby Warnke.
Dude, biscotti? Holy shit. My wife and I actually picked up a gram of biscotti, and holy shit. It was a gram of concentrate. Holy shit, is it so good. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Chief of CCISD Police says his department...
Dank Tech, what's up, man?
Well, I mean, it's not a far stretch to say that if you're abusing substances, then there's probably a behavioral component to it. We haven't done any types of longitudinal studies to determine that.
We haven't done any longitudinal... Holy shit. We haven't done any studies to show that it might be different in legal states and kids might not be as likely to use. But here in Texas, where it's super illegal and taboo, yeah, kids love this stuff. Do you not remember being a kid? Do you not remember it at all? Because when I was a kid, we loved that taboo shit. We loved the stuff that nobody talked about. They kept it a secret. They acted like it was the devil, but they're using it. So what could possibly be so bad? And then we try it. But something like driving a car, sure, it's normal. Kids don't do it as often illegally. But it's perfectly legal and super easy to get your license. Super not taboo. I wonder if there's a correlation / causation there. As new to game, we're best price for seeds. Barney's Farm isn't a bad place to get seeds. Not at all.
But anecdotally, we can see that that's usually the case.
Now let me know what you guys think about the total ban on vapes in the comments down below. You guys know what I think about a lot of these synthetic products. I'm not a fan of them, but it's not about what I think, it's about what you guys think. So drop it in the comments and let me know.
Let's take a state where it is legal. Let's see if we can get some information. Because they said 9 out of 10 kids. 9 out of 10 teenagers, I assume, like high schoolers. So let's see what kind of rates they have for it in Michigan, where it is mostly legal. This was posted, what year? 2 years ago, so very far into legalization relatively.
Average age in Berrien County for the use of any substance starts at age 11. So we can know.
So that looks bad, but they said any substance. So that could be nicotine, which is a huge one that kids start early in Michigan. Marijuana, obviously, is one that kids start really early in Michigan. And that can just go on. But let's see what...
until high school to have these stuff.
According to a 2021 survey from the CDC, nearly 37% of Michigan high school seniors reported they had used marijuana.
37%? That's almost 4 out of 10. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Does anyone else find it strange? Show of hands. Just show a hand emoji if you think it's a little fishy. There might be something up with the fact that a legal state has less kids using marijuana, according to the two claims, than an illegal state. Anyone find that strange? I find that a little bit crazy how that works. We've never seen this phenomenon before. It's never happened. Medical license, but the seeds hit or miss. The gamma and beta? What's the gamma and beta? We have a lot of like high quality seed breeders in America. Radiation? Is there radiation in your seeds, or do they just regulate the amount of radiation that can be in a seed? Because I think there's technically radiation amounts in everything.
Know that there are some cases that aren't reported, so we perceive that may be even a higher number.
Okay.
Health officials say the negative impact of marijuana can be even more harmful to those under the age of 21 as their brains are still developing.
Oh, are you talking about like radiation treatment? Like it's legal to use under medication or use as medication if you're going through radiation treatment for cancer or something? Or are they testing the marijuana for radiation with a microwave?
There's poor decision making.
I'm a little confused.
There's more risky behavior.
With the rise of teenagers in Michigan,
Not risky behavior.
Catching the attention of officials, this summer the Berrien County Health Department has launched a campaign that focuses on educating community members about marijuana use.
We want to make sure that people are informed as well, and so that's really the catalyst for most of our prevention campaigns.
The campaign runs through September and provides information about the harmful impacts of marijuana use on underage people, and also offers resources for parents and caregivers.
A great effort that we try to eliminate that happening, and that starts with awareness.
Hertz says being aware of the signs that your child may be using marijuana is vital. Those includes forgetfulness, bloodshot eyes, unexplained lack of money, and frequent use of deodorizers.
I'm Sean.
I love the bloodshot eyes one. It's like, hey, if your kid's baked as fuck, they might be using weed. Just a heads up. It does kill the terps. Yes, it does. That's why homegrown is always best if you can.
Paul, thanks for watching. Here's another video for you to watch.
Because not only does improper handling kill terpenes, but also microwaving it to death. Just let there be risk in using something. It's not that hard. What's up with the 420 and with
April 20th is a day for green, but that doesn't mean recycling today.
A lot of people reserve the day for recreational marijuana use.
It allows a person to just take another medication instead of versus taking prescription pills that can have even more adverse effects on their body.
Oh, it's a great thing, man. That happened to the state. A lot of other states, hopefully federally it's recognized too.
Marijuana use is very it's enjoying, and yeah, it's been helping a lot of people.
About to go hit up a couple of spots right now, see if I can't score some good deals. I know a lot of places around here got some good deals going around, a lot of free swag.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I can't complain. It's just a good time.
April 20th is a day for green, but that doesn't mean
no recycling here, folks. The cannabis question full documentary. 53 minutes, almost an hour, goddamn. Trump could loosen marijuana regulations. No, he's not going to loosen the regulations. He's going to make it so that only pharmacies can sell it.
Affordability. Only one place does it all.
So that he can capitalize it because he, I imagine, gets paid a lot of money from drug companies.
The Trump administration could reclassify marijuana, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal. The move would continue efforts started during the Biden.
That was a terrible, terrible salute he did. This is the motherfucker representing America?
The Trump administration could reclassify marijuana, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal.
Right straight down.
Efforts started
No,
during the Biden
this.
administration in 2024. A reclassification
No, nothing.
of the
No
drug
respect.
to a Schedule 3 would make it easier for people to buy marijuana and for distributors to sell it. But it wouldn't make marijuana entirely legal. Reclassification would allow, though, for tax breaks and additional medical research.
All right, we're bringing back our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. We just had that report from Jane King at the stock exchange saying cannabis industry booming yesterday with this news, right? Yeah. Lighting up, getting all excited about that. All right, but let's talk about this. Not making it legal when it comes to recreational use, but could this move of reclassifying it to Schedule 3 be perceived as like a safety endorsement and it leads to higher rates of use?
It could. I mean, but this reclassification is not guaranteed to be just to 3. It can go to 2, it can go to 3, or it can be removed completely from the controlled substances list at all. And so there are a number of ways that this could happen. Being a Schedule 1 puts it on the same level as heroin. Now, I'm not a drug user, but I'm pretty sure marijuana and heroin shouldn't be in the same classification. I don't think you need to be a scientist.
He's got that right. Marijuana and heroin do not even belong in the same zip code when it comes to their severity, addiction rate, and damage, and such like that. And personally, if they're going to reschedule it, they should deschedule it. I believe they should deschedule it, make it legal, quit all these fucking games, make it so you can sell it at a supermarket. Even if they have the regulation where it has to be 21 and up, I'm pretty sure alcohol isn't a scheduled drug either. But we can sell it to people who are 21 and up. I'll be right back. In fact, you want to know what I think would be a good idea? If you could sell it at a farmer's market and you could sell it to you could sell it to people, and then it could be like, oh, you're legally allowed to own marijuana, but you're not allowed to use it if you're under 18, or you're not allowed to sell it to people who are under 18 and just check IDs and stuff.
To recognize that they have different drastic secondary effects, different drastic impacts. And so while you have 38 plus states that have legalized marijuana use in a number of capacities, either medical or recreational, what you don't have is the federal government stepping out of the way. And our last state, I've talked about how the party of smaller federal government has done that in a number of regards, with abortion, with all type of other type of care. This would fall in line with
It's really crazy that we had banned abortions before we had legal marijuana. Like, they were like, yeah, let's give the power to the state for abortions and preventative care when it comes to keeping people from getting pregnant who don't want to get pregnant. But when it comes to marijuana, we're like, nah, people can't make their own decisions. We need to make sure that stays illegal on a federal level. We need to make sure that they can't get access to it because they don't want us to have freedom. They really don't. And this kind of proves it. The double standard of like, we know a lot of states that we like are going to ban this, so we're going to make it so that the states can control this. But even the states that are starting to allow this thing, we're not going to give that to the power of the states, because then we create a quote unquote drug problem, and they could go over state lines and make it easier to distribute. People in our states that we like, that are under our regime, we're going to make sure that it's still hard for them to get access to the medication that they need. Because why would we take care of the vets? Why would we take care of mental health? Why would we take care of the things that this plant can take care of if we could just keep it a Schedule 1 or make it so only pharmacies can sell it.
Their normal thinking. Let's remove the federal government's regulation. Let's remove the federal government's hands and allow the states to make.
Just remember that when it comes to freedom, they're going to try to keep it illegal. And when it comes to destroying your rights, they're going to do everything they can to do that.
Determinations, and that right now is the only thing that's blocking individual contributors to this marijuana process, and bigger companies that are trading on Wall Street. They don't have the access to the tax benefits that you would get because the federal government is blocking them from being able to utilize those.
With this reclassification, I'm thinking of people who are in prison and jail right now for marijuana crimes. What would this
let them
reclassification, would that have any impact on people who are currently locked up for that? Or is it kind
Probably
of,
not.
you know, you can't go back?
That's a great question. Typically, when you implement a new change, there's not a retroactive effect. Not saying it couldn't be. Say if they make this, you know, and remove it from the scheduling, Congress could then take some action and say, look, we're going to allow this to retroactively take hold to anyone that was convicted of these type of charges. But you also, on the criminality aspect of it, a number of jurisdictions, primarily, and this is, I guess, a bipartisan issue, primarily on the Democratic side, in those jurisdictions, they have had a hands-off approach to the criminalization of marijuana use and of distribution, and where you have prosecutors outrightly saying, we're not prosecuting, you know, less than a half an ounce type of charges. Like if you arrest someone on that, it's basically we're not going any further with that in jurisdictions like Philadelphia, where I'm from originally. That's the type of things that you've seen happen. So I think the states are attempting to figure out how to get it right. The federal government, on the other hand, the DEA is in the way, the FDA is on the way. So if you're trying to do research and figure out the medicinal purposes for marijuana, you got to jump over a lot of hurdles, because it's the same hurdles as you would for trying to research heroin.
Well, that's my question, Khalif, is that what does the rescheduling do to open up, you know, national institutions, say NIH, from being able to finally research what impacts cannabis use can have on people like veterans, cancer patients?
I mean, it's already happening. It's just they got to jump over hurdles.
Right.
And right now, they wouldn't have to jump at all. Like if they make the change and they reclassify it, you can say, look, we can increase the amount that we can get because it's based on the amount that you are actually asking to do the research on. So if I'm requesting that, you know, do pounds of it, now the FDA, the DEA is saying, we're going to walk you through a long process before you can get it. Now it'd be like going to the corner store and being able to pick it up. That's the drastic difference in reclassifying it to 2 or 3 or removing it from the classification process.
It's so dumb, too, that you can use it in so many states and you can just buy it, but scientists can't do research on what people are allowed to buy. That's so fucking stupid. And it'd be such an easy problem to solve. So easy. Just legalize it. But they don't want to do that for obvious reasons.
But I mean, there are a number of other things. We talked about criminal. We talked about medical. There's the economic benefits with the taxes. We got the banking. The banks will work with you now because it's something that they don't have to worry about the federal government saying, well, this is an illegal activity. I mean, the public health and safety aspect of it is there as well, because now you don't have folks, you know, worrying about this product being regulated different capacities. While states may regulate it one way, federal government is now regulated a different way. I think that the ultimate push would be removing it completely and treating it more like tobacco. Treating it getting rid of the prohibition.
Treating it like tobacco, treating it like alcohol.
Have, you know, these regulations limited to the scheduling, which I think opens up the door for a lot more access for research, for a lot
which,
more
honestly, it should be treated like an over-the-counter medication.
The Trump administration have to say, we want this to be Schedule 3 and not Schedule 2. Is it like what Julian was saying? Here's more evidence of how this could be beneficial to PTSD or cancer patients. Therefore, that bumps it to a 3 instead of a 2.
I don't think they need the evidence. I think this is just a decision that can be made. The Biden administration talked about it before. This isn't the first administration to talk about it. I just think this is the administration that will honestly get it done. They have consistently said this is an issue. You have folks on both sides that are lobbying for it. You can't find many things right now that are bipartisan support. right here in Mecklenburg County, Kelly Alexander, who most recently passed state rep for a number of years, he was pushing the efforts on the state level to legalize it. But on the federal level, you've had, you know, multiple folks trying to figure out a way to get the federal government to do this reclassification. So then you tie in the reclassification to legalization on the states, and then you got to get folks to do what they want to do, which is research and maybe partake.
There you go.
Dude, literally, if all the Republicans who are against marijuana tried it once, that would open up the door to so much shit. If they would just try it, man. They would just try it. But talking legal news kind of makes me a little bit exhausted, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna pull out that Chill Out OG, and I think we're gonna do a live look because I think that sounds like a lot more fun than listening to an exhausting and made illegal in the first place. Fucking serious. One second, I have to see if I can figure this out. Nope, wrong video capture device. Oh my lord. There we go. Alright, now restarting my camera later. Oh my gosh. Alright, fantastic. Alright, let's get this bread. Kind of gonna push the plant over here. Ugh. Shout out to Mr. Grow It for sending me these seeds. And thank you guys for giving me the confidence and a platform to actually get onto the show. Couldn't have done it without you guys. I got my little microscope here, my jeweler's loupe, and we're just kind of going to look at these buds and see where we're at. Seeing a lot of milky trichomes here. And it smells really dank. There's a really strong, like, spicy, skunky, and like a little bit of fruity aroma. I'm just not seeing any amber. Which maybe I'm just going to have to cut it down and have it like not be amber because the smell is there. the mass is there. A lot of the hairs ended up turning brown, just not a majority of them. And I have a feeling it's either at or close to peak potency, whether or not I do wait for this plant to start turning amber. Because with the way this plant has been maturing and showing how it's going to be growing, it looks an awful lot like if I do try to wait until the plant starts turning amber, that everything is just going to start turning amber. So it's a big and it looks super white on screen. Like you guys can see how frosty it looks. It's such a beautiful plant. And these are like the biggest buds I've gotten off of a Chill Out OG, so I really don't want to mess it up. And it's looking an awful lot like Chop Day. Oh, I see some amber right here. And a couple stragglers. But again, this is week 12, so we just found a little bit of amber on this like absolutely massive plant for how tall it is. And I've been looking at it for a couple minutes now. Oh, there's some amber. Okay. I found some amber on a sugar leaf, and I normally don't count those. Thankfully, so far, I've had no bugs on this run. There's no bugs on this plant, and there's no bugs on the wedding cakes or strawberry banana or the blueberry plant. What is everyone growing at home right now? Or did anyone just chop anything down like I'm about to chop down this Chill Out OG? Paranoid that my chat paused or something. Nope. All right. All right. It is officially chop day, last day of week 11 for this Chill Out OG. F3 generation. So I'm going to take some pictures of this plant. Holy shit. The way it looks in the light is crazy. There we go. Fantastic and a wonderful day, and another Chill Out OG F3 in the books. Do some limbo, baby. Alright, well, now that I've had some good news. Oh my gosh. Alright. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? Alright, my technology is not cooperating. So we talked a little bit about legal cannabis news, and then we also got to chill out, or check out and chill out. Check out my Chill Out OG. I'm gonna need to getting to chopping this plant down, hanging it up to dry, and probably reconfiguring my grow room a little bit. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining the live chat. Leave your goodbyes and whatnot in the chat. I do hang around for a couple minutes after going offline to interact with you good fellows. So I will see you next time. Thank you very much.